What happens to Esther's children? Now, there's this people who rule the earth, and it's a racial supremacy organization. Those are newer words, so no one uses back in the day. They called them religions, and then they also invented the word scapegoat, and they like invented it. It's a ritual, and so they invented that word for the ritual. And then what they do is they point their finger at someone else and they say, ah, ah, oh my God, so evil, go away. And it's like what they do, but they're like, ah, someone else. Ah, it's literally like they'd be like pointing at a goat, be like, ah, it was the goat. It killed and raped all those children. It was the goat. And everyone's like, oh my God. Fucking goats! Fuck it! That's where Satan, half of Satan comes from too, is the scapegoat. Like literally, like in the next chapter, they talk to you about Satan, in the next compendium, the next volume, they talk about Satan, the goat. It's like, let's see if we can ever come up with a new fucking thought for once. And not get fucking caught with what we're fucking doing, huh? Fucking so what happens to Esther's children when our Lord and Savior, child rapist, gold throne Pope, and everyone else who runs everything on the planet at this point in time, as did 2,000 years ago, when the Italians called themselves Romans instead of Americans, and Caesar was a visible person instead of Caesar was appointed by a invisible person. You know, way down back then, probably about the same stuff going on today, right? And then So around that, it was actually long before that they invented this story to teach our children to rape and kill their enemies, like to like love them and care for them, so they could rape and destroy them and take over their nations. And this is the Bible everyone loves so much. It's so great. I do believe it's probably the first fucking version of the Bible. But let's figure out, what would you do? What would I do if I created a book and I was like, well, you guys, or I just told everyone, you guys need to go rape these people so their children will fight for us, because they're gonna not let us take everything from them unless we find a way to invade their nation. And I only weigh like 95 ounces, so we're not going to be able to do this by sword like they try to everyone else, or like we say they try to everyone else. And then so you're like, oh well, our women weigh more than us, and they're like fucking Jabba the Hutt, fucking maybe they can fight wars. And then you're like, nah, that's stupid. And how can they fight war? And it's like, well, what are women useful for? What can women do? They can have sex and breed more Nazis. Okay. So how do we put that to use? Let's put them to use too. Let's send them to have sex with people we hate and marry them and say they love them and care for them and then destroy them. So what happens once we do this? What happens to the children? Okay, so the children are a disease. The children are half this enemy race we're trying to exterminate. And so if we accidentally have children with them, which in fact it does say have children with them, because they believe that having children with people destroys them, and I do too. I wouldn't want to have sex with a woman who's had a child. She's very used up. Her body's like destroyed and decayed. Like I wouldn't want to be around them. But hey, their people are using the story of Esther to the best of their ability, aren't they? Fucking you wouldn't want to put yourself around one of those people. Because everyone used to know before their people came around, fucking that people like that are use up trash crack whores. And what are you gonna tell your children? The same shit Esther and the other fucking person told me. Fucking, they didn't want a child. Well, it's obvious you didn't fucking go to school and learn how to have a child. You didn't fucking go to school and pass kindergarten, which should be a requirement to have a fucking child. Yeah, and fucking, and yeah, probably went to Bible class to learn how to fucking rape and enslave people. And probably was what's happening there. Getting and experience things firsthand does fucking help you understand racial supremacy at its finest and shit. Fucking, but yeah, what do you think happens to Esther's children? Well, you don't go join Esther's cult because that's for pure bloodlines only. So, Esther's cult created tree branch cults for their people. And just as they did when they said their name was the Roman Italians instead of the American Italians or the Israeli Italians. I don't think they ever said they're Israeli Italians. They said they're the Israeli not Egyptians. They're the Egyptians who are not Egyptians. You know, who are the Israeli who weren't the Roman Italians but are the American Italians. But is simply, I mean, like literally, you would think you would fucking just cut it off at one point and be like, we gotta get rid of this baggage. This is why are we even walking around carrying around a book explaining to people who we are? And we could just fucking put an end to these fucking pathways to who we are and conquer everything. We just get rid of it all. Maybe that's where Satanism and atheism comes from, and for some reason they still brag in that. Like, yeah, we're Christians. We fucking work for, we send our money and weapons across seas to our master race and shit like that. So maybe they just don't have the brain capacity to fucking do anything. But what happens when a whore rapes you and acts by acting like they like you and shit? Well, a few things are going to happen. I know me personally, all the people I've been with, I knew they were lying from the start, pretty much all of them. And if any accidents would have happened, I would have left that kid behind because it was trash. Its DNA was diseased, and more importantly, like I even tested it, that other shitbag fucking parasite would have fucking not allowed the human to be raised of any value. It would have become the lowest Jabba the Hutt slime on the fucking planet. Their people mirror Jabba the Hutt and have created the first Jabba the Hutt crackhead fucking empire on the planet because this is what they are on the inside, and somehow the world has evolved. It's evolved far enough to like display Jabba the Hutt and fucking crackhead on the outside. What you know is that, whereas a normal person could touch that stuff and food and all that, especially when they're enslaving everyone and making food either the only thing you have or something you don't have. Fucking with the pennies they give back on the tariffs and the taxes and the tributes to Lord, whichever that 9 trillion lords on the planet, Lord Caesar, oh my God, it's so special, or Lord Invisible Scooby Dooby. Fucking, anyway, so, okay, so these people rape their way into people's lives. They go into the land neighboring them, and then they have sex with people to destroy them. And obviously, like, they destroyed the parent. They didn't care. They were there to kill the parent and totally destroy and take over the nation. So what do you think is in their head when a little annoying fucking monster mutant thing pops out? It looks like them from its birth. Has a Rothschild look from the birth, but you're like right away, you're like, ew. Like I think even they're like, ew. That's why they probably invented plastic surgery and filters in the storyline and shit. Fucking, cause they've been doing that for a long time. Why did they wear the bird mask back when they ran the Egyptian fucking pyramids? What, people were gonna know who they were and they were afraid of it, or they just didn't think anyone was gonna accept that? One of the two, right? Either they were already, Lord Caesar was enslaving the Middle Eastern, the Egyptians, which, I mean, they use the pyramid, don't they? The Pope and the pyramid are two fucking, they're the same people, wherever they came from, they're the same fucking people. Whether they came from the pyramid area first and went to the Pope's palace next, it's the same damn people, because they use the same damn symbols and shit. Fucking, it's all fucking, they got like 7 Nazi symbols, and it's fucking everywhere. And it's real easy to fucking see and shit who they are and who they might be. And they definitely aren't culturally appropriating people and shit, because they're trying to find people to culturally appropriate to be the scapegoat for them, as they so widely brag they know how to do and shit. Yeah, this Esther whore. It resembles a lot of whores I've met in my time. Oddly, looks like him. And acts exactly like I would do if I were a whore hired to go destroy people and shit. I wouldn't be able to provide, well, I would, but, you know, if my life was just being a whore, I mean, I'd be a good whore. It's so weird. You meet people who, like, their only purpose in life is to be sent to fuck you, and they can't even do that. But I guess their people are kind of low quality or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole how that. Maybe they're just all. I was beginning to think, because they always send their people into my life. I was like, maybe all the people with estrogen are just like below bot level. Like, obviously lots of bots are here, but it's like they're like bots who can't even cook or clean. And supposedly that's what they say they can do, and you're supposed to go to work and be a slave for them so they can not cook and clean anything properly. This is a story that's coming from Esther. So what happens when Esther rapes you is you can't join the Father Bible cult of the original Nazi racists and enslavers. You will have to become a member of Christianity or Muslimism, Satanism, or atheism, because that's for purebloods only, and you will not be able to do that. So what do those other books say? Well, they say, do everything Esther says. Never turn against Esther. Never kill yourself. What do they say in the Master Cult? Never let your mule die. What else do they say in the slave? The slave cult. What happens when you go? Okay, so they're going to take you to church, and what church is going to do is church is going to teach you to worship this race's gods, and then you're going to become a Nazi going to church, and then church is going to take you as a child and teach you how to shoot guns, live outside in the wilderness, pretty much like. You're preparing for war and shit when you get sent to church. And who are you fighting for? You're fighting for the master race, which isn't you, because you're not part of the master cult. You've probably been raped and enslaved somewhere along the line in order to end up to a cult that tells you you are a bitch and it is time to worship the fucking devils on the planet who are actually the good guys. The pedophiles are the good guys. Who would have thought? And those other people who are against them are the devils. Who would have thought? Fucking, and Esther, the whore raping people, is a good person. A whore and a rapist are good people. Can you imagine that? Not just a rapist. I would love to have a woman rape me every now and then, as long as she doesn't ever talk to me again or come around me. But if she's acting like she's going to stay around and be my friend or my lover, and it's literally just her job. Like, I don't need you around, bro. Fucking. Yeah, especially if it's because your job, because you're fucking part of a fucking Nazi military created 8,000 years ago and shit. Fucking, I don't even like Nazis. I fucking hate the military. I've been calling for the extinction of these type of fuckers my entire life. Why the fuck would I like any of them? What year, what second of life am I magically going to change and be like, oh, I love this Nazi shit. I love this fucking shit. Now, they got a different term for Nazis, but it's like, all you got to do is look at it and be like, oh, that's them again. If you own everything, then it's you who fucking is in the media every time anyone talks about you. You don't break your way into the media like I tried a million times. They don't put me in the media. I go to the events where the TV shows are, and they don't fucking put me on the TV show and shit. You don't break your way in. You are them. You are part of them. That's why Kobe Bryant does all his gang signs and then gets killed 5 years later. Fucking because he thought he was going to be one of them. And they gave him some money and killed him. And half those people are them. They are them. So they're not going to turn. Fucking. And they're you can tell some of them are either Esther victims or this alien species is shapeshifters. That's how they fucking enslave the planet. There's definitely like either an entire human race of fucking bots, and that's that, or they are alien shapeshifters. It's one of the fucking two, and they do seem to be slightly on a different level than other people. I'm not sure in which way. It obviously a sicker level and shit. Because I don't know, they don't let other people invent racial supremacy organizations like religions, so that's that. There is no fucking Nazis, there is no KKK, BLM is them, fucking, that's that. There is no religion at all that's not them, and those are the original, before they created their scapegoat, their Satan, fucking, who is them, like, just like Satan is them. Just like the writer of the Satanic Bible is a good Christian. He's not a Christian. He can't be a Christian, but he does what the Christians do because the Christians are slaves to them and shit. Fucking. So, what do you think happens to Esther's kids after some whore comes around, forcing her way into some man's life, and forcing him to fucking marry her, and have kids with her? And her job is to kill and exterminate, totally terminate that person and get rid of them. So their people can have everything of theirs and their land and their nation, etc. Fucking, so when they do this, what do you think happens? Like I said, they can't join the master cult. That's for purebloods only. You're not a Bible One worshiper if you're not one of them. That's not for you. You are a Goyim. Now, if you're north of the equator, you follow one of two things. If you're northeast of the equator, you follow Catholicism from them, which says worship them. If you're northwest of the equator, you follow Christianity, 299 different versions of it for each city-state they've conquered and colonized. Esther has raped her way through, and other people with swords. Fucking... It's a lot cleaner and harder to notice. Somewhere along the line, they learned that women are the best tools. They claimed that was in the book Propaganda in 1960 from Edward Bernays, but you can see it's from the fucking Bible that they learned to use women as fucking weapons against people and shit, rape their way. And obviously the men would be doing it too and shit, because like I think everyone I know is with one of them, like I'm with. That's all that comes around, even when I'm like, can you stay the fuck away from me? And they just don't care. Like they prevent me from being around other people. And so I mean, they got this book of racial supremacy saying they're doing it. What the fuck? See, that's real fucking easy. It's real fucking easy to see. You just don't listen to them run their mouth about we're good people. You don't listen to some rapist and slaver terrorist who ends the argument with, well, we do it for good reasons. No. The only good reason if you got an enemy is to kill them completely. Extermination. Not rape them. Not enslave them. Enslaving people is what enslavers do. People who have an enemy want to terminate their fucking enemy. So you don't spend a second worrying about that, because it's simple as that. People want to enslave people. People have enemies who need killed, kill them. They have the precious amount of time and resources and population numbers to go around the world enslaving people. They're not worried about killing everyone off. They don't do it. They haven't done it for thousands of years. And however that other shit happens, that explains. Fake bots in the game or fucking evil advanced aliens, one of the two. They were either set up for it and they don't have the mental capacity to fucking do it themselves, and it's just a storyline, or they have other fucking means, and they do be like, oh, we're gods. Like Jeffrey Epstein, like these deformed fucking slimy mutants on the planet are fucking gods. They're like slimy reptile fucking alien looking motherfuckers and shit. Saying they're gods. That's weird right there. Like, you know, like that almost gives it credit because they look like some slimy reptile alien fuckers. Jabba the Hutt motherfuckers and shit. They didn't start out like Jabba the Hutt, but they definitely started out the other way. Fucking. Anyways, so take it 6,000 years later. You have these people from the Middle East or Egypt, fucking wherever they really started their fucking pillaging and slavery and shit. Fucking it's definitely not Europeans who went down there to do it, because they had to go back up through Europe to fucking spread the new ideas, to spread Esther's children's belief set and shit. And so this is what I experienced from them too. Like I said, you go to church and you go to learn to shoot guns. Do you not know this? Like you never hear about this in any of the videos. It's called Boy Scouts. The Girl Scouts go to learn to sell garbage. They sell these hard-ass, fake-ass cookies for like $20. The girls go to learn to rip you off, pretty much, and do nothing of value. Which is what Esther would do. Like she doesn't provide anything of value except for murder and genocide and racial supremacy. And it doesn't even say, it just makes her look good. Like, you know, they got their plastic surgery nowadays, fucking, in their Photoshop. I noticed they used Photoshop the last whore they sent into my life. Or the one right before the last, fucking, and then I met her, and I'm like, ew, what the fuck is this? So I tested her, and it's like, ew, it's the same on the inside, huh? Lying motherfucker. Why is this lying motherfucker sent to me and shit? And then come the people who fucking are all around her and look like her and look like they'd be her parents, have this story written out where they rape their way into your life to kill you off and take over everything on the planet. And I already couldn't expect that was like the point of these other slave cults and shit. Like, that's what happens. Esther's going to she's not going to take you to synagogue, she's going to take you to church or mosque, depending on her race. And probably in other nations, that stupid 6-armed elephant garbage is it's called abrahamic instead of Abrahamic. I mean, mental retardation, unable to come up with thought, fucking at its finest and shit. Fucking, probably has something about that in there. I wouldn't want to read it. It sounds so stupid to start. It's like, wow, we really... It's probably like, goo gaga, huggly, guggly, guggly, buggly, ooga booga, unga bunga, 6-armed elephant god. Abrahamic, so great, best people on earth. Worship or die, 6-armed elephant god, kill you. Fucking pretty sure that what it says, because that's what the other books say, right? I'm not going to wait. The whole point here is we're wasting our lives because of these people and shit. Like, you can, this is what they do when they come into your lives. The fucking Esther comes into your life and rapes one of your parents, and then they have to figure out what to do with you, because you're like, they can't like chop your head off while they're trying to like take over all the stuff that this man controls and trying to get him to sign his life insurance and everything over to her and shit. She can't just like chop the baby up right then, or they would and stuff. But a lot of times they're doing that to have the person they're with go chop up other people. That is the story of Esther. They're raping their way into this man's life. You know, they're going to get rid of him and the children eventually. But the point of the story is to have rape their way to have that man go kill other people for them. And then, so what do? You get sent off to church. And you get to learn how to shoot guns. You get to learn how to do all the rest of the military shit. One of the only things I remember, besides the homosexuals they tried to lock me in rooms with there, was this one fucking jackass who was like talking about going killing everyone across the seas. He was like 11 or something. And it's like, well, that's obviously what comes from this, right? It's not an accident. It's not like, ooh, cancer accidentally spilled over. It's like they sent us all to camps to learn to shoot guns and camp, you know, military shit and stuff. That's not to protect ourselves. Like, no one here is protecting themselves from their people. No one's protecting themselves from Esther. No one's protecting themselves from racial supremacy. No one's protecting themselves from Santa Claus and shit. Fucking the point of mixing the Santa Claus is because they killed those fuckers and replaced them and shit with Esther's fucking howdy ho welcome bullshit. Where they mix the two, where Caesar comes in and mixes the conqueror and the slave to make the child who's shaking and crying because its parents just had its head chopped off and they need it as a soldier, so they're going to try to keep it alive to fucking fill the ranks and shit for the people that's disgusting fucking parents just killed, and now their army ranks are lower, so they need to find out a way to turn this person into a fucking slave and shit. At the very least, serve the soldiers food, but hopefully become a soldier. I don't know what's wrong with their brains. You just definitely don't take captives like that, but greed is fucking greed, isn't it? Fuck, I don't even know what the fuck it is, to be honest. Like, so, when it comes like enslaving the entire planet and shit, they're like addicted to it, like cocaine. They're addicted to cocaine too. Fucking, it's like I said, it's personality type. I don't think crackhead is from smoking crack and cocaine. I think it's from their fucking genetics and shit. And why most of them look fucking the same, if you ask me. Who's all those famous cokeheads on TV? The Italians, the fucking Romans. You know, fucking crow. What were they doing? They were running around raping and killing and enslaving everyone. What does a crackhead do? They didn't have crack back then, and they're still doing it. There we go. Fucking problem solving and shit. They were writing a book fucking 6,000 years ago saying send their women as whores and prostitutes to go rape and kill and take over nations and shit. Fucking, hey, that's not a crackhead. Fucking, and there's no such thing as a crackhead. That's not even some shit they even talk about, because little secret magic trick they got going on there that really would fuck up the whole spiel if they went on TV. That's why they can't have Kanye West on TV talking about the fucking who his children are and how that happened and shit, fucking, because that would like make other people fucking start to question who's in their life, and they got a whole fucking slave cult plus they got a whole 6 slave cults maybe dedicated to worshiping Esther if she rapes your parent, or Esther T. I mean, they're the same. They look like the same people. They could say it's a fucking name is Esther and it's a female or a male, and it could still be either or. Fucking Esther either way, huh? Fucking. So to me, that looks like what they do. I mean, look at their people. They got them fucking Roman statue looking motherfuckers driving their Ferraris and shit. And them pastors and shit. Was that famous one? Everyone, they advertise that Joel Osteen. Dude has plastic surgery. He's a fucking Christian preacher. And he's got so much plastic surgery, his face doesn't even move properly. And I think the other one from like the 80s and 70s had it too. So that's they said Marilyn Monroe is when they actually started, and now that's like a medical procedure Imagine that 100 years later, people are like, this is not a medical procedure for some stuff going on, but they passed 100 years of medical procedures that are for plastic surgery and stuff like that before anyone was like, no, you can't do that. They just went a little too far. Like, oh, let's put 3 penises on this baby. If the baby has a right. If it identifies as a 3-penis brontosaurus, then it can have 3 penises. Took 100 years to fucking... And you know, that was probably going on long before that, too. That's just the first written history. I haven't looked into anything further than that. I just thought that was a little false, what they were saying, and then I happened to look into other stuff, and they said they did that for the same purpose. It's like, oh, nice. And the drug trade control goes back to doctors saying smoke cigarettes, etc. I mean, it's just like over and over and over and over and over. So we can't expect, because a book of racial supremacy, you think like these wars stop, like it's been like 6,000 years. The wars for these different groups have never stopped, and like this ain't about that. But you know, one thing I noticed is you know, Esther's children. If Esther created 3 different cults to enslave different people, plus, Einstein would be Esther creating cults too, right? So it's definitely what Esther looked like. Maybe a little bit now his early pictures, he didn't have white hair, so darker hair. Yeah, his wife looked probably exactly like what Esther looks like. Fucking. But it's still like the same thing, telling you the same thing. I'm bringing forth the same pedo rituals and stuff. And that's one of the things that make you kind of look at it and be like, huh, well, if they started the pedophilia on their cells at a certain step, then is it possible that they were actually created as a slave cult of the Egyptians, of New World Order people and shit, whatever the fuck they are, and because why would they, like, I mean, sick people, I guess. I don't understand, why would you go rape? That is a stupid discussion, because it's like they're out here like doing the rape ritual and shit to take over stuff. Of course, they're going to tell people to chop off their wieners and their babies' wieners, and chop off their own children's genitals. It's like it takes a personality to do certain things, you know. And it takes a liar to fucking lie about any sort of shit, really. Fucking, especially on a continual basis and shit. Fucking, you know, like if you do something on a continual basis, if it's like a passed down for centuries and you celebrate it every year and stuff like that, it's done 200 times across the street every day. Like, this is going to be a pattern here, right? What I can tell you is not a pattern is Scooby-Doo flying through the air on an invisible sleigh. It's not a pattern, because it'll never happen. So I can tell you that's not a pattern, right? I think we can, hopefully, some of us can agree on that, right? A couple of us might, maybe. I can agree on it. You know, I'll speak for myself. So what Esther's children would be sent to these other groups, because they can't be part of the root, because they're not in it and stuff. There are like a couple other rules, but basically I think they're just like feeding you stories and shit. But at the same time, you take them there, and I mean, if you're trying to kill people off, you definitely don't let them be part of your main cult. And then they have all that. They're training them for war. They send them to die, and they tell them to worship them as gods. And they keep them down low on the pyramid. They have rules and that, like the Bible says don't advance. You know, like don't, the Christian Bible and stuff. I'm going to assume the other ones say like don't teach your children anything. Pretty much go live in the woods and do nothing. Learn to clean toilets and make hamburgers. And so why would you want them competing with frauds like Elon Musk and Esther if and they're spending their entire existence, 6,000 years, is raping their way and making up Scooby-Doo stories, then they obviously don't have time to do much else of value and stuff. But they are like, you know, obviously they're like enslaving people and turning them into soldiers and stuff like that. So they can gain stuff. I've watched people invent stuff and then they have stuff. The Germans supposedly invented TV, and then, you know, Hitler, Nazis. I wonder, I mean, Nazism came from these other people. It's odd he looks like them. It's weird. It's almost like no one would have had that idea. But then again, they also would squash that idea, right? If anyone else had it. I noticed they squashed the BLM pretty much. They made sure their people took that over wherever it came from. They probably invented it themselves. It's not like anyone else owns the media, so they would have had to do that, wouldn't they? I mean, they fucking bombed like the Black Panthers, like there's fighter jets. They had like a neighborhood, and I think in the 60s, and they fucking bombed it with the fucking fighter jets and shit, and missiles. So obviously they didn't think about taking it over back then, although they were raising their half their Esther Barack. And see, that's what they do with Esther's children. Is Barack Obama, his name, is their people, and his mother is obviously Esther. That looks like every Esther in the world, I guarantee you that. Looks like Einstein's girlfriend there. And looks like Joel Osteen without plastic surgery. So, safe to say that's Esther's children being used to run the nation and convince people he's someone he's not. So that's I didn't even think of that. That's a good example of Esther's children, because his dad looked like West African or something, and his mom looked like Esther, and then they kind of falsified his story when they put him out there on the cover of things and stuff. So. Now, I noticed this going on, like there are some, I had their people in my life, like, who were like playing games with me. Sometimes you can notice what they're doing, because they'll bring up topics, you know, your friends, family, people around you will bring up topics that they don't know anything about, that are personal to you, you know, and then when they bring up certain topics like that, then you know, like, that they're hiding something, because they shouldn't know anything about that. And why do we hide things when we're evil motherfuckers? Especially when we're forcing our way into people's lives and acting like their friend, like Esther does in the rape genocide, peace and love manual. So yeah, I was noticing stuff like that. As soon as I got away from being indoctrinated and kept in the Stone Age, there's not a thing to do for a person winning awards from the president and being advanced multiple grades. You almost wouldn't want to do that unless you're trying to kill someone. Pretty much, yeah. I think that would be the only answer. And their people came to chime in. So when their people chime in, you know, like something's going on. Like, well, I don't know, they're like idiot bots or something. They're sent to like let you know something's going on. Like long before you even know anything's going on, they'll be there saying that shit and stuff, and then blaming someone. Like it's pretty much whenever they say something, it's the signal that they know something's going on, but it's, oh, don't worry, it's nothing to worry about. It's like, well, how do you know that's going on? And they look like you, and you're destroying my life, and they're destroying my life. I don't know what's up with this dumbass bot race, but they do these things. It's very clear that they do. I wouldn't fucking know much of anything that's going on if they hadn't fucking tooted their own fucking horns so often and shit. Fucking, those are some of the biggest signals, like, that they're up to something and shit is, you know, it's like a personal thing because they come and they run their mouths about fucking shit they don't know. And, anyways, so, yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to read, like, right? And you already know, like, how these people exist, and they're everywhere because they've left their home base and they went and they've spread their joyous, beautiful word by killing everyone and taking everything from them. And so I'm focusing today on, we already know this. We've already known this, you know, you're just born and there's stories like, oh yeah, it's like, I'm going to be the real American someday. Someone killed them, but it wasn't me. But next week I'll be the real American, so I'm the one benefiting from it. Fucking, you know, stories like that. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it sounds so believable when you talk. Let me guess, Santa Claus is coming next. Fucking, yeah, oh, he is. Yeah, I'm not even being sarcastic, bro. Like, don't kill me. Fucking. Oh, anyways, yeah, so they have these other groups they created. So, you know, Caesar has like the Italian religion where they like worship Caesar and he's a bloodline. And then, I mean, obviously the people who run America look like Caesar today. They say they're Italians, which means fucking like 1 in 10 chance they're actually from Rome and not, the farmland right beside Rome. So, yeah, see, they always like do that. You think they could just change the fucking name or something, but they never do. They never like fully just change it, and then the little clues like coming up to me and talking about shit they don't know, signifying that they are definitely involved in it, and they're definitely part of the reason that fucking is existing. Fucking, so you have those groups, and it's pretty much what they're doing is they're taking children and they're enslaving them, and they're teaching them to go worship that race, and at the end of the line, like they're like, oh, but we're good people, and these are bad people taking it over, and they forget to remove every part of all their evil fucking vocabulary except for this race is the master race upon the planet and you should worship them because Invisible Scooby-Doo has chosen the devil race to fucking worship, to be worshipped, like, because Invisible Scooby-Doo is a Nazi and shit. Invisible Caesar and shit. Fuck it, that's the correct name, right? Because they just changed their name from Caesar to Invisible Man, and all of a sudden it's legit again after their third failure at taking over the planet was put to an end somehow, as if I didn't believe that, because they always retain control after an end comes to one of their empires. And they just have more control now than they ever have. So I don't necessarily believe Rome ever fell. I don't know. They're always a victim, right? They were enslaved by themselves repeatedly. I wouldn't, if I seen someone put them in shackles and hit them with a whip, I would just assume that they're paying this person to do it at this point. So, yeah, and I would never, at this point, I would never assume. I don't care how realistic it ends up looking. I would never be like, oh, that's real. Wow, I didn't know that was real. I thought you were faking. There's just like certain people who wear their lies so thin. I think there's a story about that called The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where someone sits around saying something and then no one wants to hear from them again because everything they say is some invisible Scooby-Doo story. And then eventually they say something realistic and everyone's like, oh, get it the fuck out of here with the invisible Scooby-Doo and shit. And that's the way it is. You go around talking about fucking Santa Claus and Esther Bunny. Also from the ISIS. From the Ishtar. But I really think it's got just much to do with the Esther Bunny. Because it's a pagan ritual, so that means those people would have had to go and kill the northerners. And Forrest combined, Caesar would have had to go north and kill the pagans and combine their religion. Even though the book says that especially, the slave manual says don't celebrate those pagan holidays. So they still do it. And that's what they did before they invented invisible people, saying that they were gods, and they just said they were gods. They had Caesar going around just like, well, I'm God, and I'm going to kill you if you don't think so, and that's it. And what they would do to console and comfort the children of the people they just raped and killed, as combine the religions. So they have anti-pagan, kill all the heathen religion mixed with pagan holidays, and that should be common sense. That's why anti-pagans fucking worship pagan celebrations, because something happened along the way where they got mixed together. And what was already happening on Earth? Well, people were going around the Earth claiming they're gods, and they're going to kill you if you don't worship them as gods. And it's a whole lot of those God stories on the Earth. So there's different versions and slight different alterations of those stories and how they are used to conquer and spread culture. Like Caesar was spreading civilization to all the stupid Neanderthals and monkey people. So that's why Rome, that's what Rome said, we're teaching them, or smacking them in the back with a whip, and they're going to learn how to carry food to us, and we'll give them a little piece of bread for learning and coming to civilization and stuff. Pretty much, I don't have to waste time inventing this story. It's already written. And so you have although, we can always argue that they were different people, but I think we got enough proof right now that there's the same people doing the same stuff, considering every religion right now on the earth is one people, and they have their opposition. Like, what if we don't believe in invisible Scooby-Doo? don't worry, Einstein's here to help you learn how to rape your children. And what if we hate invisible Scooby-Doo? Don't worry, our good Christian friend here will write the Satanic Bible. And, like, I think we can just look at this today and see that, well, if they're doing it today, there's a possibility they were already doing that in the past. And they're doing it pretty eloquently today. I mean, technically they invented the Satan stuff 5,000 years ago, so they've been preparing for that scapegoat for 5,000 years and stuff. But Satanists don't say anything about you, and they're not like, oh, these are motherfucking invaders and shit. Like I heard a pagan musician from Europe talk about that, and he was like, packaged in with like the satanic black metal and stuff, but he really wasn't, and he didn't identify as that either. In fact, I think there's two. One's more famous than the other nowadays, because he faced some backlash for eventually saying stuff. But yeah, so it looks to me like, I mean, you just read the book and you interact with them, and I've never met anyone who's smart enough to, or willing to tell me why not to use technology or advance and stuff. Like, do you by chance know anything about the people who own that stuff? Like, that's the reason I think not to do it. But the reason why I would think not to use their technology is also the reason I would be like, well, we definitely shouldn't worship them either, because that's what we're doing when we join this specific sect these days. Supposedly, when it was created in Rome, when the Bible was created in Rome, it wasn't. When the Bible 2 and now 3 and 4, oh yeah, 2 and 3, my bad, the Muslim thing was like shortly after. When the Bible 2 and 3, the Catholic and Christian, and before the 25,000 newer versions, was created. That was created in Rome. And just imagine that. And about at the same time, too. And then one was used to go east, and one was used to go west. Just, I would suppose if Esther had sex with people, the first thing she would do is take her children to one of those places. Because what are you going to do? Like, tell your children, like, hey, I just, like, raped your dad so he'd go kill my enemies, and hopefully you and your dad die, because you're my enemies too, and I want your land and take over your nation? Probably not. No, we've already got a pattern here of creating stories to tell people how to worship us, and we are the best race upon the planet, and how to worship us, and what rituals to perform to worship us. We've already got all this. So if we're going that far, to rape and kill people, then we just send them over to this other group for other people that says worship us, and then be like on the lowest level of the pyramid and do nothing and not advance at all, and chop off their wieners so they can be more productive slaves and not have sex, and then we can have sex with their women and they can have sex with ours. It's like a double win right there. Not chop them off all the way, because people will be like, that's not right. If you just do it a little bit. You see, there people are the masters of tortures and deception. If you've ever met any of them, this whole Esther thing is a basic design here of their personality traits. So look at their governments. Look at everything they touch. Look at their hospitals. They perform pedophile rituals in this nation. They sell drugs. They run a drug cartel, and then they take their slaves that they send to their fucking not military racial supremacy cults, to go like invade Mexico and prevent them from having drugs so they can keep their prices over here high. So pretty much everything they're touching is it's the same thing. Like, I've been dealing with these people and their personalities the whole time. They've been most of my life I've been having people forced in my life, and they bring them to me like dogs on a leash. And even though like they're like lying to get in my life, so it's like clearly this must be an Esther and stuff. And they definitely tend to look like either Rothschild or Esther. Like, it's a weird thing there, considering like I wouldn't even know what someone looked like if they look like something I look like. Like, they'd be looking all fucking. When I go around with my makeup on and stuff, you probably can't tell what I am and stuff. But there are people have this pattern of doing this stuff, and the one pattern I noticed with it is they try to keep people back in the I consider back in the Stone Age to go to train them for warfare and stuff. But at the same time, I do notice. I mean, I got, like I said, little things happen every now and then, pointing out stuff when I was a kid. And they sent like some psycho kid around me at church talking about like, can't wait to join the military and go kill people and steal land for them. He definitely looked like pure blood, so I don't even know what he was doing at the church and not at the synagogue. But I never didn't get that feeling from there, because the people were doing those things, like trying to lock you up with homos, and they have a pattern of doing this. Like, they probably rape their own kids, right? Like, so I can't say that's like out of the ordinary. But the telling people to worship someone else is obviously, like something you do to a slave. Like, man, you don't worship yourself when you're a slave. You worship Massa. You work for Massa. You clean the field. You clean the couch, and you pick the cotton, and you harvest the fields for Massa. You don't run Massa's house. You don't get to be Massa. You don't get to ride around in the back of the buggy with Massa. You get to drive the buggy if you made it really far and stuff. And you get that, like, I mean, literally, like, how many of them are actually like forcing their kids to do labor and stuff so they can have money and shit? Definitely have seen that happen. Not necessarily so. They have obviously, these are books of really complicated mind games, like really extensive mind games and stuff that people love to play their mind games. Like, they've been writing for thousands of years and stuff. So I noticed, so they always leave an option open, like, oh, you made the decision. Like I asked for things in my life, and then the razor blades appear on the shelves. I've never done much I want, but obviously, what am I going to do with the razor blades? Those appear. But the other things, never. Like the whole time. Like, in fact, like when I worked to get some of them, they would take it from me. Like enslavers, like literally people I'm assuming are Esthers and act like Esthers. Like, I might assume that my father was a victim of these people because my father worked with these people. My father worked with the New World Order and shit. Like, I didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was 30 years ago, but I'm sure my dad worked with him because he worked with his fucking boss and shit. And people like that and stuff. So, I didn't know who the Masons were when I were working for him and shit. But my father was so far involved in shit that he could have become a target by them if he wasn't then. And he definitely wasn't like doing that stuff, you know, like taking people to military camp and shit like that. And he was actually like trying to be a father the few times I've seen him, but I understand why I didn't see him, because I wouldn't have stayed around either with the people sent into my life. And I ran away from that situation as fast as I could myself, so I understand, you know, like, at least you got out of here, fucking, you had to stay behind. Fucking, but yeah. So that's pretty much, that's the humans' actions and what they do. And I know they like to lie, and the bots, the devil fucking possessed creatures around this world, like to have their little 2 cents thrown in. But you know what? Their 2 cents isn't worth fucking a fucking blade of grass. We already have I'm 6 years old, and they're talking about Santa Claus and shit. And I'm like, can you shut the fuck up and get away from me and never talk to me and come around me, never look at me, never fucking come near me again? And what happens? My whole life is filled with these fucking Santa Clausites, fucking rapists, fucking people, fucking from these Abrahamic cults. Usually the worst people are the fucking Muslims and the fucking Christians. And obviously we have Satanists who are like kind of there causing problems and shit, but there's just not as many as them. But like, they definitely identified themselves when they caused problems, as the rest of the Abrahamic slave cults and shit did. They, just as the humans for some reason identify themselves when they're causing problems, as if they're non-existent bots who are telling storyline that I'm being forced to fucking watch play out and shit. Obviously, I had no control over 2020. That was just bound to happen in that year, or when it had been called, 2020 vision before the game started. And so pretty much everything is kind of like force-fed to me here and shit. Fucking, I wouldn't be anywhere I am because I've been trying my best to avoid them and it. And forced into my life, the story is repeatedly. So, nothing I want, so it's like, it's not even an interactive fucking story and shit. It's definitely devil all the fucking way and shit. Traditional Koopa Land story, just no participation, visual novel. Fucking. But that's what it is. Fucking Koopa Land. When Koopa comes and rapes your family and shit, Koopa has slave cults for the grassland minions and the waterland minions. And, we already know this because Koopa used to be Caesar, and everyone knows Caesar and Rome are trash. And so it's weird to see the media being allowed to advertise Caesar as someone important. When his boyfriend, the Pope, dies, and we already know that the only reason they exist is because they're fucking genocidal, rapist, homosexual, pedophile terrorists who enslaved the world, and thankfully the world was grateful that Rome was destroyed. I've never met a person, even the most racist, obvious looking people I know, like, they've never been like, oh, but Rome is great. Fucking, they try to tell you that in the fake bots online, in the Nazi sites, but, I mean, when you meet a person who says it doesn't matter what Trump's bloodline is, and you can tell they're not actually who they say they are, so that's my one experience with one of their leaders, so obviously we wouldn't, and then he didn't even, Hitler didn't even do a Roman salute. That was an American salute, and that was just some made up stuff. Fucking, so you really shouldn't even go with any of that. It's not like they oppose those people. Just, they always say someone's opposing them. Like, they have the Satanic Bible now, and they have the atheist, and it's the same motherfucking shitbag rapist, fucking genocidal terrorist. Fucking Einstein's famous for being a fucking genocidal terrorist. That's the only reason anyone knows him. He's not actually smart enough to have done any of that. He fucking encouraged the genocide and the terror, but he gets credited for being smart enough to invent a bomb to kill all those people and shit, and then he's like goo 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 ga 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 ga, and people are like, oh my god, that's so smart. He's so smart. I mean, that's. You got your Bible and your TV being like, that's so smart. He's so smart. You got Joel Osteen on TV being like, Einstein was so smart. He said goo goo gaga, gaga goo goo. He's like, what does it mean, man? I don't even understand math like that, man. Oh man, pass the bong, man. It means absolutely fucking nothing. It means he's a jackass and his people are jackasses, and they've never said or done anything of value. They've been inventing Scooby-Doo stories, invisible Scooby-Doo stories for like fucking 5,000 years. And they had visible Scooby-Doo stories before that. I mean, the chance a rapist, whore, pedophile fucking talking about flying fucking reindeer and giant bunnies is going to ever say anything that anyone needs to be subjected to is slim to none. And more fucking obviousness that some crackhead is forcing their way into your life if they think you should be hearing about shit like that from them, because that's a person no one's going to want to talk to, and it's a person no one's going to believe. And if they're a social parasite, they're gonna be begging for attention, because that's what addiction is. It's a person who just they're going to die. Their body's going to go into withdrawal if they don't get their hamburger or their crack pipe or their talk time. We've seen it. Most of us have probably seen these things happen in people around us. I know I have. Like, fucking drugs are the least of the problems on the planet and shit. Drugs are just a Scooby-Doo illusion that they've created, is the bogeyman for everything, while they suck people's bloods and lives from them and make them all low slave class and shit, so their people can remain at the top of Scooby-Doo land and shit. So that's what they would do. And am I correct on that? Well, why are they not members of the synagogue? Why do they have to go to the following cults? Why don't they go to synagogue instead of fucking satanic church? Why don't they go to synagogue instead of a science class? Why do they worship the same people as lords if they're any different? Why don't they just go to the same place if they're going to go give all their money, time, and life and have sex with all these people and let them molest their children and mutilate their children? Why do they? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You read the books for what they are and not listen to this Scooby-Doo nonsense and shit. It's pretty simple. The first book is like genocide, rape, genocide. It's a pretty clear cut. They celebrate it in the streets and stuff. And then the following cults are, my race is so fucking special. Worship me or die. They go around threatening to kill you if you don't worship them. Their twin brother, Satan, is going to kill you. And who does Satan not kill? Satan doesn't kill them because he steals shit from America to send over there. And they're a Satanist cult. And you wouldn't even, if you were in actual opposition, you wouldn't call yourself the Satanic Bible. You would call yourself the opposition to Nazi pedophiles. You wouldn't be like, oh, I am the Bible. So stupid. No one would do that. You know who would do that? Esther would do that after she raped someone and tries to enslave them and shit. That's what Caesar did. Raping and enslaving people. He's fucking... And they all look the fucking same because they're all the fucking same. And they're all doing the same shit because they're all the same thing. It's like some fucking... It's like a crow and a goddamn fucking goldfish and shit. But they can't do anything different. Yeah, I swear to fuck, these fuckers are boss. Hey, how the fuck has no one ever rebelled against them in thousands of years and fucking decided we either die or they die? Maybe that's the only reason they erased the Native Americans, right? I'm pretty sure I see something else going on here. Yeah, just like no one. And I mean, and then we got the excuse they could make. Well, that's why they got to separate me from everyone else, because they know I don't love fucking terror and pedophile and genocidal fucking for Nazis and shit. Don't love terror for Nazis anyway. It's fucking... I'm okay if it's against groups who are going around fucking, and if you've like conquered the world, then you've got too much world in your hands and shit, I think. It's not a good idea. Not a good sign there that one little group there fucking has a whole world in their hands and can go around rape and enslave. And then I can only imagine I get raised up around it because that's like the only way to incite me to play the fucking game is to like make it a fucking personal thing and shit. Obviously, every game makes shit personal. I don't think it's a game. I've not participated. I'm not going to, and they're going to keep fucking folding the storyline out. Fucking, they're fucking trash bots with no thoughts and shit. Fucking, they'll never stop being trash. Never fucking played a game or read a book and been like, maybe at the end of the book, the bad guy will just quit and everyone will be like, oh, thank God. Thank God they just quit. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya, my Lord Caesar. Kumbaya, Lord Caesar. Fucking... Yeah, you can tell it's definitely a slave cult if I never get to put all this shooting and fucking camping and shit into play and stuff, because that means they do that to fucking keep people stupid so their people can control all the technology. Their alien species can remain in control of all the advanced tech that their people have probably been using to enslave the planet for thousands of years, and they don't want no one to find out. Fucking, and they don't want people to have the tech, fucking, because can't enslave people who have thoughts and can do things. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is you can't enslave people if you don't enslave them mentally and shit, and force them to go fucking slave for free and work at McDonald's instead of doing anything of value and shit. Not become president because you're not their race and shit. Fucking not own anything because you're not their race. Pretty much, you can clearly see that stuff's happening. I mean, it's not too hard. I'm pretty sure it's written somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was when I was a kid. It might be erased by now, about how they did it when the Italians called themselves Romans instead of Italians before they invented the fucking Catholicism and the other Bible, and obviously that would probably be them creating the third one 100 years later, because no one's going to plagiarize these people. No one's going to plagiarize the KKK. The KKK is not plagiarizing. It's not stealing the cross. It's bearing the mark of the abrahamics and shit. It's probably fucking Epstein underneath those hoods and shit. Yet they would show you something different on their TV, but they wouldn't ever actually show you those people who supposedly did that shit. Fucking. But I don't think you'd use the. No, that'd be too stupid. Like no one would join you. You'd be like, "Oh, I am the Asian KKK. We are against the KKK." And people go like, "Oh yeah, you're the Asian crackhead. You're against the crackheads, but you're the Asian version of them." Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense there. Fucking. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a bot, but doesn't make any sense there to have those thoughts. Like I'm not going to like rewrite any of these people's fucking stories for them and shit and claim to be against them and stuff using their fucking whatever. Fucking Scooby-Doo the 97th. So stupid. But it's happening, right? And thankfully it's stupid because that's the only way you could read it. I mean, if they weren't stupid, they wouldn't come up to you fucking bragging to you that they're promoting the fucking storyline and what they're up to and shit. If they weren't stupid, they'd keep their mouths fucking shut and you wouldn't ever know anything and shit. So, is that stupidity or is it mind control making them unable to control their souls? It makes no sense to do that. They're releasing their karma. Another illusionary bogeyman story they've invented and stuff. And they've used that in at least 3 different Scooby-Doo stories they've written too. So, again, it's like, someone's plagiarizing someone here. And what Caesar did is he plagiarized himself when he killed and enslaved people. And, well, that's odd because Caesar's people fucking run America now. And I think they always did. You just look at the TV. And I think they were always talking about them, the mafia and they always look like him, right? JFK and Abe Lincoln and the whole New York. And then New York was supposedly them, and then now it's supposedly the other people who now Italy says to worship as the master race. So it all just links back together real simple and shit. And the way I see it is there's no point in talking about it to most of those people because they're probably mostly them and stuff. And you're not going to get... Most people I know are like hardcore fucking racial worshipers and shit. Like they love their bloodlines. They love their families, and they don't care fucking how far they go and shit. Especially if they feel like they're getting something from it. I always understood that part, that you can't really recruit people to not like the terrorism in America because they're probably taught that they do benefit from it. They used to have an advanced nation. And they're the only nation who has enough food to get fat. So at one point in time, they benefited from it. So it's like I wouldn't really expect that. I mean, especially when you have the people, the whole 2020 thing. It's like, oh shit. Like, oh yeah, that was a waste of life, huh? Fucking. I shouldn't have told those people anything. But, yeah. So Esther's children, where they go? They probably go to church. She probably beats their ass and forces them to go there and learn to worship their race's gods. And then train them to be soldiers and rape them. Have only men on men rape, because that's there to destroy your psyche and stuff. And like let you know, like Caesar did that to let you know that he is Caesar and he's going to rape and kill you whenever he feels like it, and you're going to fucking take it. And they just carry it on, and people are like, oh, hail the Pope, and then obviously Caesar has learned to like not unify and be like, oh, we've got opposition now and stuff. They've learned to do control opposition and shit. They tell you about that too. Pretty dumb idea for them to tell you about it, but they're doing it. Like Alex Jones is them and is a Christian, and he's telling you about what his people are doing, and he's like, but it's invisible Scooby-Doo doing it, not me. And again, like that's something they do in the open, but I'm saying like personally, they come up to me and they run their mouths. That's pretty much most of my interactions, is someone coming up running their mouth about something that they shouldn't, unless they're fucking ratting themselves out or something. Pretty much, I'd say everyone. Because I'm always forced to have interactions, so who's forcing me to interact with them? Oh, violent, forceful people would be the first thing, and then, so why are they by chance organized violent, forceful people? Fucking, why do they always come up with the little, not always, but so frequently since 2020, we have people talking about things that are admissions to who they are and who they work for, and that they're involved in the whole terror, fucking 40 years of terror on this planet I've gotten to watch. Fucking. So that's that. That's what's happened. They go to church and they get raped by men and mutilated. They go to the hospital for that sometimes, because I guess humans just can't say no or something. I don't know. Maybe the whole fucking nation is them, and they're blaming Europeans for their genocides, as they blamed fucking Egypt, some invisible people in Egypt, for their fucking genocides there, and every genocide between probably has the same fucking the genocide of the Germans, the fucking attacks on Russia, every genocide in between I can think of seems to be them creating a fake Scooby-Doo story and shit. And I mean, that's it. They be acting like fake and Scooby-Doo-ish and shit out in the open. They probably do that Santa Claus shit to hunt people down and stuff. Like, if you're too smart to fucking believe in that, they'd probably start attacking you and trying to kill you, and your parents call up the 1-800-church hotline and be like, yeah, Esther calls up and reports you, be like, yeah, my halfling here is like not believing this stuff, this Nazi shit we're brainwashing them with. Like, we gotta do something. Let's drug him or kill him or something. They always have something like that going on. Drugging. That's pretty popular in this nation, isn't it? Drugging children. I wonder if they're targeting specific children, like Esther's children. Huh. Because it's their people doing the drugging, and it's their government who's allowing it, and it's their fucking racial supremacist religions who are talking about kill all the other people, rape them, and destroy their families. So it looks like they connected the dots for me by writing this stuff in advance while they're acting that way, and me getting to watch it happen. I don't know what to say. And yeah, it'd be the Nazi pigs with their pentagrams and their Star of Davids protecting and enforcing the drugging and raping and mutilation of children. It's like kind of hard not to find a link. It's like, is there not a link? Oh my God, can they even come up with something that's not a link? They were like, I know one time I was talking to someone and they came up and they started talking to me about Michelle Obama being a transgender. It's like, okay. But yeah, that's all they got, you know. When you just talk about what they're talking about in the open and what they're doing, what they're actually doing. They're enslaving, they're drugging, they're raping, they're mutilation. It's like organized rape across the fucking planet, where their people have organized thousands of years ago to go and act like they're loving, caring people, to rape their way into people's lives and kill them off and stuff. And obviously, either they're aliens who feel secure enough to do shit in a pansy ass way like that, or that's a really effective means that's allowed them to kill and enslave everyone on the planet, or both. Obviously, seems like it'd be effective, because if you came at me the other direction, I would have been calling to execute you fucking like I did the Romans when I was born and stuff. Fucking in the Americans, or the new Americans when I was born. I just didn't know who exactly those people were, and that I was probably talking to them every time that I brought up how those people like that shouldn't exist. Fucking. The weird thing is they might have known who they were dealing with, because it's a visual novel, then their entire existence was written to combat a person who can figure out who they are and stuff. It definitely says in those books to hunt down the right people, but then it says that if I were that right person, that I would worship them as gods. Well, it's like, yeah, I'm going to worship Nazis, okay, yeah. Especially ones who've enslaved me. Like, I don't know how they get by with that. Again, it comes more as, do we believe what Santa Claus bots say, or do we think with our own minds and put together what's actually been happening on this planet and make a decision from it? Because I wouldn't ever believe anything they say ever again. And I didn't for most of my life. To like select people to say anything that didn't make them sound like they're an empty fucking can who's lying and deceptive, rapist, murderer type person, there to lie and make up shit, to deceive and manipulate. There's so many of them too. It's like, damn, like, you're fucking outnumbered. Might as well just go with it. So you have to go with them raping their way into your life and forcing you to do nothing, because there's so fucking many of them. It's like a planet full of them. Like 2020, we had like everyone working for Satan and shit, or Christians, or whoever you want to call them. Whoever's your favorite enemy, you're gonna blame for that shit. Fucking, obviously it was the same it was the Abrahamic bloodline in control of all that shit. Fucking, that means it's all of them. Fucking real simple. And of course, we still have people being forced into my life to talk to me about a whole bunch of other shit instead of anything of value, like why their people are trying to kill me and shit like that. And when are we going to fucking round them up, the ones who've been doing it, and deal with the problem and find others who have been involved, which is the only thing I should be concerned with. Since I'm forced to live this life, fucking, I have to be forced to fucking play the fucking role and shit. I'm forced to fucking be given. And, fucking, well, that's that. I love wasting my life. I love being here, wasting my entire fucking life amongst a bunch of terrorist fucking enslavers, pedophile organizations, hiding behind Invisible Scooby-Doo and shit. Bunch of terror. Looks like Invisible Scooby-Doo might actually be an AI. I mean, you guys they do worship an AI, don't they? Isn't that what the New World Order symbol is? Isn't that what the Eye of Ra is? Is an AI? Fucking, we have like half the planet fucking worshiping AI as their creator, so they're openly, I mean, but they're Scooby-Doo motherfuckers. They're not going to talk about that. All they're going to talk about is flying reindeer and waste your motherfucking life and shit. But you done figured out what the fuck they are and what the fuck they're up to. And they're sticking to the fucking old script and shit that used to work and shit. And wouldn't work if they admitted to it anyways, fucking. So, life's pretty fucking simple and cut and dry. Hear what's happening, what they're up to, who the Esthers are. They all look the same. These chubby cheek fucking cracker fucking weirdo looking individuals, fucking their black hair, black eyes, fucking going around raping people, forcing them in the Nazi cults and shit, fucking, and then obviously it probably works the other way. You don't have to convince a man to do anything, and they do things when you tell them to go kill and rape for you. Fucking, you don't have to write a book and have a holiday for it. Fucking, but I mean, actually, yeah, they do have their own. They do have their own rules there. A little bit different for the men and stuff. It's not the story of Esther. I don't know. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm gonna shoot myself. I'm gonna kill myself, hopefully, before I have to read or know any more of this. Fucking need to do that to be able to forget all this shit that's been happening and stuff. And prevent it from fucking happening anymore and shit. Which obviously it's gonna be here because I've been forced to be alive this fucking long. So, they're not gonna give up until they're gone, and I don't see them gone yet. Fucking, I don't see the point of the fucking game being forced to play out this long if it wasn't like fucking I paid good money and it's forcing me to fucking play to the end and shit. Other than they're fucking really are actual fucking terrorists and not bots. And ooh, the realism. The realism that Santa Claus might actually be a real fucking terrorist and not a fucking stupid bot. Huh. So real. I'm so convinced these days by it. I was always so convinced. I was like, something's wrong with you. And then the bots made the excuse. They're like, you gotta protect mentally retarded people. It's like, but you're a terrorist too. I don't give a shit what you are. You're a fucking pedophile and a terrorist. You're not just mentally retarded. You're not a mentally retarded KKK member. Fucking hateful fucking hating other people, trying to oppress them and prevent them from going anywhere type motherfucker. But it's a mental retard. Literally, that is like their people invented all that shit. I've watched that shit happen to their people too, like where they have, I mean, as if it didn't look that way to begin with and shit. In their fairy tales, they actually write of that specifically. Again, patterns. You can see they've only got so many words they can say and so many personalities they can. Shit, personalities, like 7 or less, fucking. But as far as talking points and what's actually going on, there's only like a handful of them and stuff. As to what they've been doing for thousands of years, how they're doing it, how they're going to keep doing it. And they'll just write a new book and slime off and be like, scapegoat, oh, that wasn't us, oh, bad Satan, bad atheist. Obviously, the point of those are to scapegoat the other ones and be like, oh yeah, why do we worship these people from the Middle East and kill everyone for them? Oh, they're evil. Let Einstein tell you about it. Let the Satanists tell you about it. Let Abrahamic Einstein tell you all about the Abrahamics. Abrahamic Satan tell you all about Satan. Tell you all about the Christian. Abrahamic Christians. Fucking. It's a pattern. Real fucking easy to see. I mean, it's literally written that they did this before. Last time they conquered 90% of the world when they called themselves Romans, and they changed that name. Then they shed that name and started calling themselves Italians, which is where Rome is. And the Italian Catholic Christians. And so they're not the Romans anymore, right? Because they said so. Just like they're not. It's like they were enslaved by the Egyptians, and they weren't doing the slavery, but they still have that New World Order AI sign. The pyramid class, where Esther's up here at the top, getting served banquets, and then down here are the people Esther's raped, and she's telling them not to go anywhere, not to advance, not to do anything, so they can't climb up to the top of the pyramid with them and compete with them, and they can support the rest of the pyramid, the top of the pyramid anyways, and hold them up. And that would be the story. You pretty much, like, you can go make a pyramid structure of different religions, and that's why, that would be why when you get to the when you get to Hollywood, when you get to the very top of the world, the most richest people, that they use this symbol, and they don't use a cross, and they don't use the Muslim symbol. It's because once you've gotten that far, that means that you have understood, they've identified you as someone who understands what's going on. And at that point in time, they start buying you out and trying to, and like giving you gifts and stuff. And then, like in Kobe's case, they're gonna kill you too. As in the people Esther raped, their case, they surely killed that nation, took it over. They weren't sharing the secrets with them and stuff. They weren't even telling those people they were raping their way in there. They just did it, and they died without ever knowing and stuff. That the whore they were just having sex and married to and having children with was actually an enemy terrorist who used whoredom as a love, who used love and caring as a weapon. Now, have you ever heard of a group other than that who uses it? In fact, that group doesn't use the word love and care as a weapon. But have you ever heard of a group who does use words like love, care, truth, and hope as a weapon? I can think of one. In fact, I can only think of one, really. There's the New Age people who have, probably shouldn't even mention them, because Scooby-Doo, we ain't got time for you. Scooby-Doo the 95th. We don't need none of that. But there's definitely, see that's odd, because Esther's personality would be of a person who goes around telling people she loves them and cares for them. In order to rape and kill them. And we have this group of people who love and care for you, who would be the same, who go around the world raping and killing and invading and genociding. And that would be the exact group that Esther would force her children to go to. Because they wouldn't be allowed in the New World Order cult. They would have to join a lower class cult. And it's on now. It's like it's the same personality repeating itself here It's like they don't have an ability to do anything different. Maybe the system collapses if they. No, I mean seriously, like that. Probably it's probably hard to be the same personality. I literally know different people with the same names, same faces, same personalities involved in this stuff and shit. It's like they're made in a factory or something. Same positions in my life, although that changed to me recognizing that was probably wasn't the most beneficial thing ever to accept gifts from people and stuff, which is odd because they force you to accept gifts and then be like, I gave you a gift after they like force you to do labor and take all your money. They like choose what to give you, like something they found in a dumpster somewhere or some shit. I don't know. It looks like it. That sounds like what Esther would do to her children too, doesn't it? It's odd. All these parallels. All these parallels to action. So few actions, so many parallels. So odd, isn't it? Just it's almost like if I look at my wall and I'm like, hey, that's almost white, and I look at the ceiling and I'm like, that is white, and then I look at the lights and I'm like, hey, that's kind of white too. So odd. Why are they all almost white? What is it? Does it mean anything? Maybe they just happen to turn out that way, right? I mean, it doesn't mean nothing. It's how they're invented. I put the lights up and they came on that color, and then, they built the building and the walls and the ceiling turned that color. Wow, there's no parallels there either. They wouldn't do that because it's all like the same blend or anything, right? There'd be no reason for that. No reason. It just turns out that way. Magical. No, all those links. It's pretty obvious. Their attitudes are all the same. Literally, I'm summoning clones in 2020 and then noticing that all the people in my life are the same people, same names, same personalities, and then it turns out to be their cult is a mass murdering KKK fucking cult, and who uses abuse and drugging and death, genocide, slavery to try to mask it and shit. And it just happens to be pretty parallel to stuff that was happening, and then we tested some of it. I mean, obviously you can't drug someone without them knowing. We didn't have to test that, although we did a few more times just to add to the fucking stack of evidence against their fucking shit species. But terrorists, just trying to see if anyone else ain't on board. I don't know why, because we did that 2020 thing and it sure didn't look like there was any Mushroom Kingdom folk out there and shit. Fucking, there definitely wasn't in my city ever. Just, yeah, people who tried to kill me and have drugged me and just do it casually and shit. Fucking, and then get all angry when you talk about it and whine and cry and bitch and moan about it, which is like literally part of one of their 7 personality traits is the whine and cry and bitch and moan to waste your life. I can think of a love and hope group that whining cries and bitches and moans about they was slaves at one point, and they don't ever show signs of being slaves and shit. Fucking they own everything, and it's literally like a manual for the KKK to rape and enslave the planet. I wouldn't see what there is to whine and bitch about unless it's part of the parallel activity of wasting life. That's one of those things that Esther would do to their children, is to burn their life off so they remain at the lower section of the pyramid and support her, she's never going to go anywhere or do anything. So she has to make sure that her children, the family she's raping her way into, does not like remain kings and do things and stuff like that. That's the whole purpose of it there. Not just to rape your way into a family, but they had to destroy the people because they didn't like raping children and stuff like that, apparently, as much as they did. Or whatever their great personality traits, fucking, maybe they didn't like the KKK as much. We won't know the actual truth because Scooby-Doo and Santa Claus are here to fucking rewrite history for us and shit. There we go. That looks pretty obvious what they would do because, hey, that's what I experienced. Fuckers come from a family who like worked, who was like fucking on their way to being kings and shit, and worked with the people who fucking are kings, and hell, the one girl I dated who worked with them, fucking, she died of cancer recently. So she said, I mean, it's kind of hard not to look at a cancer, radiation victim and fucking be like, oh, maybe they didn't have cancer or something, but she always had some other excuse for why she had cancer, and I always had a different idea. It's like, it seems like you're working with these people really close, and I don't trust you, and they're known to kill everyone. Took about 5 years or something, right? How long did Kobe last? Fucking, they usually let him last 10 years. Fucking, so they usually put everyone down after like 10 years or something. Fuck it, so yeah, hey, that's a sign too that they're, obviously still doing that. Besides, like, I don't know if they do it to everyone, but it's clear to look at my life and see people popping out of nowhere and seeing that they all look dissimilar and making an assumption that Forrest had this stupid ass visual novel story fucking for a reason and stuff. And obviously, you would have to be the evil. You would have to side with their race, their Satanist race, in order to be against them. Like, I would have to be Satan to be against them. But I don't like Satan. Oh my God, I don't like their people at all. Why would I want the new KKK if I don't like the old KKK? The people are definitely keeping up their bullshit and stuff. Little rapist terrorist fucking organization. Quite a large, overgrown rapist terrorist organization, best I can see. Fucking trying to, at this point, fucking clear people are in my life trying to force me to do shit. But obviously, I'm assuming Esther takes them to a cult where their alien species fucking comes along and guides everyone down the right path in case they start thinking too much. That's probably how they know to, like I said, how do they know to drug you? Do they look for your test scores, or do your parents call them up at the fucking synagogue and say, hey, we gotta kill this fucker? He's not believing Scooby-Doo stories and shit. He don't believe in Santa Claus and all the other invisible Bigfoot stories we have to tell him. Fucking, it comes from somewhere around there. Either win everything at the fucking school and get their attention, or start doing shit. Start saying, you sound like a fucking psychotic, fucking abusive, motherfucking manipulative piece of shit. I don't want to be around you. Hmm. What a waste of life this is, though, right? I've been here 40 years fucking enslaved to these people and shit. And then they be doing that thing where they take everything from you and give you, like force you to work. You're 8 years old, you're doing fucking hard labor. And they take everything from you and give you fucking, some fucking used sweaters, fucking in return. And then go on vacation. And continual pattern with pretty much most people I've met and they've forced in my life to the point where I have to test them and kick them out real fast these days and shit. And obviously, no one fucking here, or I wouldn't be talking to you because I wouldn't be around someone I didn't want to be around. So I'm not around them. And if I was around someone I'd want to be around, I'd be around them, not making a video. Be doing things. Fucking, not like these fake made up fucking relationships Esther's creating when her people go into lands and rape people and force them to date someone they don't like and shit like that. Like, to the pretty apparent fucking their people are up to. Why else do we have the same people doing the same fucking things in my life repeatedly and shit? And they're like this organized fucking alien homo pedo cult and shit, fucking of global genociders and shit. Looks pretty obvious to me what's going on. Shit, I don't know if there are other living beings, or if I'm supposed to be the only one who gets the joy of fucking being able to see it and be targeted the most by them, but pretty obvious it's been happening. And all they can do is whine and cry and be like, no. They can't actually be like, no, all that stuff hasn't been happening and shit. Like, they'll gladly rat each other out too. Fucking, I noticed that. They might, one or two might say it's not them. Obviously, most people say that when you ask them what they've been up to. But they'll gladly say it was everyone else, which is pretty good. You get everyone to tell you everyone else is fucking doing something in a little group, then it's kind of like the same thing as admissions, isn't it? Fucking, I'd like to get some of those people, but then again, I'd like a lot of things, like the humans to be accounted for all their attempts on my lives and all the slavery attempts, all the abrahamics fucking working together to cause all these problems and shit. And then act like they're my friend when I've done told them to stay the fuck out of my life and never come around me. And I clearly know what the fuck they're up to and shit. Fucking, Like, see, I would rather be a Muslim than anything because they're not homos. And I'm not a homo. But their people, Esther needs you to be a homo. Because her men fucking, they're women like that shit too, apparently. The ones, yeah, like Esther likes fucking watching men have sex. And it's kind of apparent. It's a repeat pattern here. A pretty sick pattern you have to put up with when you come to this earth and shit. And all they can do is be like, no. And it's like you can just look at the TV and the internet and you can see, like, yes, this is who they are. Like, if this person's saying he experiences this from these people in real life, if they're not doing it, why are they doing it all over the internet? It's because that's who they are.